up, y'all, and welcome to another edition of On the Needle. So I did make it Friday, but I did make it in time to conclude the weekend. So this is the first On the Needle of 2025. I'm so excited. And what better group I feel like than to introduce this year's lineup of vinyl reviews than A Tribe Called Quest. And their classic 1993 third studio album, Midnight Marauders. So for those of you who may not be aware, A Tribe Called Quest is a group that I feel like they blend jazz, funk, of course, rap, and a little bit of R&B elements in there too. The group consists of Q-Tip, Ali Shaheed Muhammad, I believe is how you say his name. And also Five Dog. They were the three, rest in peace to Five Dog. They were the three main ones. Now, Jerobi White, he left the group in 1991, and then he kind of circled back around when they released their last album, or their most recent album, in 2017, after Five Dog's passing. So, I feel like A Tribe Called Quest, in all honesty, you know, they've been Grammy nominated, critically acclaimed. All 6 of their albums have achieved gold status or higher. But I feel like with all of those accolades, they really haven't been given the just due that they deserved, and kind of the sound that they helped usher in. Again, that kind of jazz funk fusion of hip hop. I mean, this is a classic album. It was even featured on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time list. This album was featured at number 201. So they're in that top half of the greatest albums of all time, at least according to Rolling Stone. So some of the highlights of the songs that I really like on this album: I love Midnight Marauders. I love the intro, the tour guide. I love Award Tour. That was one of the singles. I also love Oh My God. That's another one that was a single too, if I'm not mistaken. Electric Relaxation, Clap Your Hands. I love God Lives Through, Keep It Rolling. Those are like some of my favorites. So this is the cover here. And I like this style because if you look closely, this is kind of like a yearbook style cover. And there are some pretty big names on here. So I'll just list a few of them. You have Ice-T that's featured on this cover, MC Lyte, who's on here. You have Too Short, Heavy D, may he rest in peace as well. So you have some legends here that are featured on this album cover. And A Tribe Called Quest, as I mentioned, the song Oh My God, I just found this out last week, courtesy of the Twitter, I don't call it X, the Twitter account, The Nine Is Right. It's like a Left Eye Stan account, I guess you could say. They mentioned that Consequence, a rapper, Consequence, if y'all don't know who he is, you can look him up. But Consequence actually kind of spilled the beans here lately, and the song Stressed Out, which wasn't featured on this album, but it was A Tribe Called Quest, one of their biggest hits that featured Faith Evans. That song was originally pitched to TLC. That was, I feel like that was definitely an opportunity that was missed. So the story, I guess, is that L.A. Reid wanted the song for TLC and was willing to buy it from A Tribe Called Quest and give it to them solely. Tribe Called Quest turned down his offer, and instead they put Faith Evans on the hook. Now, I will say, as much as I love TLC, I do feel like Faith Evans just really killed that song. I mean, she did a great job on it. And I feel like it was one of those moments for her. It probably was just meant to be, because that was also the time she was kind of just coming out. So I think it helped solidify her status as a bona fide superstar R&B singer, because she was attached to A Tribe Called Quest, who at that time were still fairly a few years new into the business, but by a lot of people's standards, veterans at that point, because they had been around about 5 years or so when they were about 3-4 albums in. So, but Fast forward 1994, Five Dog is featured on the intro to Crazy Sexy Cool. That's him that's rapping on it. And in their song, Oh My God, that's featured on this album, he has a line where he says, he has more condoms than TLC, which he kind of recycles that verse a little bit on the intro. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Q-Tip, I would say, is the most prominent member of the group. He's the one that, he's released solo material, had some big hits of his own, Breathe and Stop and Vibrant Thing. I still jam them to this day. They are still part of my workout songs from time to time. And this album, I feel like they really took some risks here, because in the early 90s, rap was really still finding its footing because it had only been around for a few years. So you had, LL Cool J, who was kind of venturing off, and he was kind of that person that pioneered love into hip hop and kind of like the love songs. But he also had a little bit of that bad boy kind of gritty image too. Then you had gangster rap, and then you have A Tribe Called Quest, who really doesn't fit into either of those buckets. But they have this sound that just really sets them apart. And I feel like one thing I love about them is they have never transformed, or not transformed, that's the wrong word. They have never conformed to the times or conformed to whatever is hot at the moment or who's the best, producer at the moment, things like that. So this album is classic to me. It features, Raphael Sadiq, Busta Rhymes, who was another up-and-comer. He came out shortly after Tribe Called Quest, but at the beginning of his career, he was tied closely with the group. So he was featured on this album as well. And I just think it's just great. I mean, Q-Tip, again, like I said, he was the front man, if you will, of the group, because he was doing most of the vocals. And then he was the one that kind of convinced Five Dog, like, hey, you need to come in here and start doing some vocals too. And I feel some of A Tribe Called Quest's best verses have come from Five Dog. There's no cut against Q-Tip, because he's definitely a great lyricist in his own right. But Five Dog was nice too with the lyrics. So curious to know what y'all think about this album. It has been out for over 30 years. Hard to believe. It came out in 1993. Again, this is Midnight Marauders. This is the third studio album from A Tribe Called Quest. And I want to know what y'all think about it. What do you think about the group? What do you think about their legacy? Do you think that they are underappreciated? I certainly do. I'll go ahead and show y'all this. It's not much thrills. Here it is, a thick vinyl. Y'all know I love thick vinyls. So this one is just black, your standard black vinyl. No real frills or like posters or anything, pullouts, anything like that. So from that aspect, it's pretty standard. But this is one of my most prized possessions in my vinyl collection, because one, it's not something you see every day. And two, Tribe Called Quest is such a legendary group. I won't even say hip hop group. I don't want to minimize them by just saying hip hop. I feel like they are a legendary group, period. So I have two of their albums. Who knows, I may review the other one day. I won't say which one that is right now, but I have two of their albums on vinyl, including this one. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, share. Thank you for the new subscribers who have recently joined. If you have not subscribed and you're watching this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you do that. And until next week, peace.